rejection is protection. Feel secure, you need to feel protected. He also has this thing where he needs to feel safe, secure. Where do I find the good men? Where is the men at? Where everything is toxic, everything is toxic, everything is toxic. A healthy person is 60 to 70% healthy and like 40 to 30% toxic. Let's get into it. Because you're just like, I mean, sis, okay, you're saying a lot, but like, how do I push forward? How do I date? How do I date in my 20s and not waste my time? Ladies, my number one advice, keep your legs closed, but keep your options. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. And what I mean by keeping your options open, okay, is you are dating and you are outside seeing what's going on, okay? You're able to differentiate this type of guy from this type of guy. Okay, so this is the type of guy that I don't get along with. This is the type of guy that I get along with. This is the type of guy I'm sexually attracted to. This is the type of guy that I'm repulsed by. Okay, you need to know these things. You need to be able to identify your compatible, like, masculine counterpart. You really, really do. But while you're doing that, you don't need to be having sex with every single person you come across. So the more you keep your legs closed, because like I said, rejection is protection. Sometimes you need to reject your sexual urges, reject certain guys so that you can protect yourself from, you know, creating soul ties with people who you don't even want to have real ties in real life with. You see what I'm saying? Like, why would you create a soul tie with someone via having sex with someone who you don't even really respect, you don't even really like? Trust me, like, keep your legs closed and keep your options open. I promise you. Keep your energy to yourself. Keep your energy for yourself. Keep your energy for your beauty, for your radiance, because certain things can kill your energy, and you don't want dating and becoming worn down, because sometimes you can come across women. You ever come across those women who are just super bitter about life? They're just super bitter about men. Just always complaining about men, like, men ain't shit, men ain't shit, men ain't shit. You ever see those women do not be radiant. They do not be beautiful. They're not the type of women where I'm like, I want to be like, no, I don't even want to be next to you. I don't even want to be near you. I like to be around radiant people with high energy, people with good energy, people with a cool vibe, people who are optimistic about life. You know what I'm saying? Like, so in order to remain optimistic, don't go giving yourself to every single guy, because you will become bitter over time when you do that and you're not getting what you deserve back. Because relationships are about reciprocity, okay? And I'm not talking about selling sex. I'm talking about real reciprocity in a real relationship, okay? So just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Keep your legs closed and keep your options open. And this goes along with what I said, you know, just now. Okay, do not provide yourself as a sexual, okay, I wrote it down, so I'm gonna read it. Do not provide yourself as a sexual and emotional space for a man that hasn't invested time, money, and leadership into you. Can I get an amen? Can I get an amen? Do not provide yourself as a sexual and emotional safe space for a man who is not investing time, money, attention, leadership, energy into you. Okay, you're gonna save yourself so much time, so much heartache, so much confusion. Because guess what? Men invest in what they care about. Real men. I'm talking about real men. And when I'm talking about this, I'm talking about healthy, real men. Healthy, okay? Healthy. Keep in your mind, healthy. Healthy men take care of what they love. They invest in what they love. Okay, that's why we're so attracted to business type of men. Businessmen, we're attracted to men who are very successful. Why? Because it shows that they really care about their purpose. They care about their life. They care about their skills. They care about who they are. They care about how they looked at them. They just care so much, okay? Because and you can tell that because they've invested so much time, money, energy, discipline, you know, attention and skill into their crafts. That is so attractive to us for a reason. It's so attractive to us as women for a reason, because having someone who is so in tune with who they are, and then you look at their life and it reflects it, like, that is just so sexy. That's sexy to me, and I think that's sexy to everyone. when you come across people where it's like, wow, this person's so dedicated to their purpose and their vision. Like, you can see it in their life. Like, you can see the results, okay? But men take care of what they care about. Men take care of what they love. Just always remember that. Never provide a space for a man who does not give an F about you. If he's not, like, and when I say investing time, attention, and money, like, hear me out with what I'm saying, because it's not just about dates. It's not just about frivolous things, not just about bags and designer bags and blah, 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 blah. Yes, all that stuff is cute. The gifts is cute. Yes, of course. We love gifts. We love gifts. I love gifts. But if he is not trying to invest time into you, meaning he doesn't sit and talk to you, he doesn't sit and want to understand, what you want to do with your life. He doesn't try to understand your vision for your life. He doesn't, invest time. He doesn't invest leadership, meaning he doesn't, prophesize to you. He doesn't try to lead you. He doesn't try to say like, well, babe, I think you should do this. Or, well, babe, why don't you try this? Or, well, babe, like, let's do this. Or you'd be so good at this. You should try this, babe. Like, if he doesn't invest this type of time, attention, and like understanding into you, sis, trust me, you should not be having sex with him. You should not be investing any level of emotional safe space into him. Period. Because you have to realize it's a reciprocal equation. Relationships are supposed to be reciprocal. They're supposed to be balanced, meaning it's the same thing on both sides. Now, the formulas might look different, okay? They might look different. If you remember algebra, maybe each side will look different, but they seem to equal each other. You see what I'm saying? So just because the man needs this, so the man needs emotional safe space, and the man needs a sexual safe space on this side of the equal sign, and then you need time, you need attention, okay, you need to feel safe, you need to feel secure, you need to feel protected. He also has those things where he needs to feel safe, secure. You see what I'm saying? So while those things may not look the same, trust me, they need to be equal. And if they're not equal, you're dealing with the wrong guy, period. And that's all I have to say about it. The next piece of advice that I would give to you is that, and this really comes from the fact that the girls always ask me, like, where do I find high quality men? Where do I find the good men? Where is the men at? Where's the high quality, like, successful men? Okay. I'm gonna let you in on a little secret about where these men are at, okay? The first thing you need to understand is that men tend to date who's immediately around them, okay? Who they immediately see, like who, because men like to conserve energy. They like to save their energy for making money. They like to save their energy for doing business and being logical and all these things, right? So when it comes to women, they typically tend to go for the women that are in their immediate circle. Meaning the women that they tend to see when they go out, or the women that they tend to be around maybe with their work or whatever. This is why people in the entertainment industry typically date people in the entertainment industry. This is why people in medicine typically date people in medicine, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, okay? Proximity is key. So if you would like to get around certain types of men, think to yourself, ladies, where do these type of men hang out? Where do they go? Where do the type of men that I would like to meet, where do they go? That's the first thing, right? That is the first thing. You need to know where these type of men hang out. If you are always, I would say, if you typically go to Denny's and you want to meet a high value guy, right? Or you like high value. If you want to meet a successful guy and you always are at Denny's. Not to say no one ever goes to Denny's, but what I'm saying is that you want to meet certain type of men, you need to put yourself in their way. Okay, put yourself in their immediate proximity so that they can see you. How are you supposed to find good guys when they don't even see you? They don't even know you exist, okay? But I would also like to add to this, because I feel like proximity is very, very important, but I also think that working on your own femininity being feminine energy, right? You need to work on your own magnetism. How you work on your own magnetism is through building confidence, through building self-esteem, through having things going in your own life, through taking care of yourself, through really loving yourself, liking yourself. Because you can be around certain type of men all day, but you may not get the results that you want because you're still not who you need to be. personally. Do you see what I'm saying? So I would say it's a twofold thing. If you want to find where the good men is at, the high quality men, understand that you need to put yourself around these men, because these men are not, because the men that I'm talking about, they're not just out looking for women, trying to find women all day. They're focused, okay? They're worried about their business, they're worried about money, they're worried about providing, they're worried about becoming a provider, protector for that one woman in their life, or however many women, whatever, okay, I don't judge. So yeah, you need to put yourself in their way, but also become a high quality person. Become a high quality person, period. I don't really know much more to say besides becoming a more high quality person, because I truly feel like when you are high quality, you will attract quality. And when you're high quality, you have discernment to know, okay, well, that's high quality. Because I'm high quality, I know a high quality person when I see one. I know a good person when I see one. Okay, so become a high quality person, and you will not struggle to find high quality men, girl. I promise you. Is this gonna be my last piece of advice? No, it won't. It won't be my last piece. Okay. Another piece of advice that I have, okay? Learn how to vet men, okay? And when I mean vet, I mean to learn who this person really is beyond their representative, okay? Beyond what they're giving you on the first, second, third date. You need to understand how to ask the right questions. You need to understand how to have an art of conversation that's alluring, but you're still able to get the results. You're still able to understand, like, you know, who is this guy really, okay? If you guys want me to do a video on first date questions, let me know, because I have an article about first date questions, and, you know, the girls really liked it, but you need to learn how to vet these men. You need to learn how to figure out whether they're just a bullshitter or they're real. You know what I'm saying? Like I said earlier in this video, character above everything. Yes, money matters. Of course, money is going to matter. But character matters over money, period. It just does. And you're not going to know the type of character that he has while you're dating him if you don't really vet him. You want to vet him so you don't waste your time. Typically, it takes a long time to get to know people. But there are certain questions that you can ask in order to kind of weed out the, you know what I'm saying? Weed out what you don't need. Weed out what's not for you. So you need to learn how to vet men. You need to know how to ask the right questions. You need to know how to understand what he means by this and what he means by that. You need to understand that, okay? You need to learn you need to understand how men communicate, okay? That is a huge piece of advice, okay? That is a major key, okay? And this kind of leads into my next piece of advice, okay? Understand that you will never know what it's like to be a man, okay? You will never fully understand him. You will never fully understand men, period. Just like they will never fully understand what it's like to have a period, to have PMS symptoms. They will never understand what it's like to go through ovulation. They will never understand what it's like to get pregnant. So you cannot expect yourself to know what it's like to be a man, to really like understand every single thing about them, okay? You just have to love them and accept them for who they are. No, but seriously though, you just need to, what you need to know, you don't need to worry about understanding the why behind how like why men are how they are. You need to understand what they're thinking, okay? You don't need to understand the why and the how, just understand the what. What is it that they're thinking, you know? What system are they operating on? What are they going by? What's their measurement of value? What's their metric system? That is what you need to understand, okay? If you don't get anything, probably I would say next to the last piece of advice that I gave you about learning how to vet men, this is really important because I think women waste way too much time trying to understand men. And I'm like, sis, you're never gonna understand men 100%. You're just not. You're not gonna, just like they're not gonna understand you, and that's okay. You don't need to understand them to love them and have a good relationship with them, period. Just like I don't need my man to understand me 100%. I just need you to love me. I need you to give me what I need. Okay? And how you're gonna give me what I need is by me communicating what it is that I need, okay? They don't read minds, okay? Over time in a relationship, maybe your partner will learn how to read your mind. But I would say typically, men cannot read your mind, so you have to communicate, okay? You will never understand how it feels to be a man. Don't try it. Just try to understand what system they're operating on, okay? Understand what they're thinking. That's what you need to understand. That's it. And then you can move based on that understanding, not the understanding of him and what it's like to be a man. Just don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. Okay. And the very last piece of advice that I'm going to give you in this long ass video, but I hope that it was super valuable to you anyway. But the last piece of advice is to talk to people that have the type of relationships that you want, okay? Talk to people who are an authority in the type of relationship that you want. If you want to get married, talk to people who are married, okay? I know that sounds so simple, but we tend to forget, like, why are we asking our single friends for advice about a relationship? Not to say that people who are single can't give good advice, so that's not true. I've given good advice while I was single, but what I would say is that you also need to get the experiential knowledge so you can understand what it's like to be in that situation. Do you see what I'm saying? Only certain people could take themselves out of a situation and give good advice, like therapists and like coaches and stuff like this, but that's a very specific group of people. Not everyone has that capacity, so don't be listening to your single girlfriends or your single homeboys about relationships. No, talk to the ones who are used to being in long-term relationships. Talk to your parents, okay? Talk to people who had to deal with someone for a long amount of time, okay? And most importantly, talk to people who are invested in your happiness, okay? There's not many people who really are invested in your happiness as much as like your parents, maybe a sibling, maybe like a very close friend or whatever. But make sure you're getting relationship advice in your 20s from people who care about you. Because listen, your 20s are very, very rough. Your 20s are rough because typically you don't have money. Typically you're just figuring out who you are. Typically you're trying to understand life. Typically it's just so much going on. It's like, who do you run to? Who are you supposed to talk to about this type of stuff? Okay, talk to people who are invested in your happiness, because they're gonna give you some real ass advice that you probably didn't know that you even needed, okay? When you talk to people who are your peers, who are in the same space as you, it can be affirming in great ways, but it can also hold you back because they're not necessarily on a higher level than you. You want to talk to people who are reaching higher levels than you about anything. So that's really with any type of, I would say any type of business. I feel like if you want to become like a life coach, like obviously you need a mentor that's a life coach. You need to get people in your life telling you the real shit about the processes of relationships, and that's just a fact, okay? Period. Very, very, very last piece of advice that I'm gonna give you, which I think is a little bit high level, I'm not gonna lie, so I may not even put this in the video, but understand this in your 20s. Because I feel like certain words are so popular now, like gaslighting, like triggering, like love bombing, like so many things are so popular now that we get certain things misconstrued. Listen, just because someone triggers you does not mean that they're bad for you. Let that sink in. I'm gonna take a sip, okay? Just because something triggers you or just because someone triggers you, it doesn't mean that they're not good for you. It doesn't mean they're toxic necessarily, and it doesn't mean that you should run for the hills. Listen, hear me out. Okay. Sometimes when things trigger you, they're trying to let you know that something in you is off, okay? Emotions are like your guidance system. They're guiding you towards understanding more about yourself and who you are. They're leading you to more self-awareness. So when something triggers you, don't automatically point fingers at the person, okay? Look in the mirror and understand, like, why does this trigger me? Why am I triggered by this? Why does this bother me? Okay? And I say that with, you have to use so much discernment and you have to really have self-awareness, but that's so important. And I just think that that's such a piece of advice that you don't really understand until you get closer to 30, okay? You don't really understand until you get closer to 30, especially in nowadays, because everything is toxic, everything is toxic, everything is toxic, everything is toxic. It's like, not everything is toxic. Some shit is necessary. Some stuff is just necessary for you to go through so you could understand how it is to deal with real authentic people going through stuff. Nobody is perfect, okay what I'm saying? No one is perfect, no one is toxic free. Everyone has toxic aspects of themselves. It is up to us as we're growing and we're getting older to address these toxic things and to integrate them into who we are as a person and to say, you know what I'm saying? Okay, wow, like this insecurity, like this makes me toxic. Let me rectify this insecurity so that I don't become triggered by something like this. And I'm not saying, and I'm referring to people in healthy relationships with a healthy person. And when I say a healthy person, I don't mean you're 100% healthy. If I gotta give a percentage, I would say a healthy person is 60 to 70% healthy and like 40 to 30% toxic. Okay? That would be my number. And I only say toxic because like that's the word that's most heavily associated with like the darker aspects of our personality. So like jealousy, envy, territorialness, you know, lying, manipulation, blah, blah, blah. Like that's what's associated with being toxic. So I'm just using that. But really that's just your shadow. That's just your dark side. It's just, we're humans. We all have a dark shadow side that has to be integrated and brought to the light in order to be able to like exist and to just be real and authentic. Who wants one way all the time, okay? Anyway, I'm going on a rant, so I'm going to close this video out. Please go ahead and like this video if you got some really good, advice, information. If I busted some myths, if I gave you some stuff to think about,